Dear comrades, I am Marco Pappalardo from the International Working Group of the CARC Party. With this speech, we want to bring to the debate the practical experience that our party is gaining in building a national coordination against NATO in Italy. On December 8, 2024, the Non-NATO National Coordination was founded in Bologna with the aim of fully implementing the Article 11 of the Italian Constitution that states that Italy repudiates war. Such article, if fully respected, would imply Italy's withdrawal from NATO. Currently, 21 national organizations and local committees, plus about 80 individuals, are members of the non-NATO National Coordination. The National Coordination aims to coordinate existing national organizations and local committees, build new local chapters, and promote the establishment of regional and provincial coordination groups. The non-NATO National Coordination at the moment is mapping US NATO military facilities on Italian soil and the agreements that Italian universities and institutions have in place with NATO and the Zionist State of Israel. From the foundation, the National Coordination has promoted assemblies in several cities to publicize its existence and aims, and a national mobilization on April 4 for the 76th anniversary of the foundation of NATO, when there were 30 events throughout Italy attended by more than 2,000 people as part of a more general mobilization against war, the EU rearm program, and Zionism. The non-NATO National Coordination raised the slogan of a new liberation of our country from the US NATO imperialist groups and the ruling warmongers. I shall speak about the general orientation that has guided our party in promoting this work so far. We aim to build a link between the mobilization against our country's participation in the US-NATO war in Ukraine, the mobilization against our country's complicity with the Zionist State of Israel, the other general struggles for national sovereignty and the establishment of socialism. For this, we develop specific operations in every sector of the population. We must connect the fronts, from the struggle against the war, the struggle against inflation, against environmental devastation and climate change, against the privatization of healthcare and education, against company closures. Connecting these fronts means an effort to develop local and national coordination of workers and popular organizations in general. Each particular struggle must eventually be considered as a unified single struggle. We must develop the initiative of each organism starting from the level at which it is, leveraging its positive side, mobilizing and strengthening the left wing, and taking into account the classes that it's composed of. The anti-war movement is diverse. The organism and individuals promoting or contributing to the movement are very different in features, objectives, slogans, methods, and social classes. We must not start from the revolutionary purity of promoters and participants, but derive from what they do as much as we can to advance in the mobilization of popular masses for socialist revolution, to make their actions benefit our cause, whatever their intentions, aspirations, and ambitions may be. Moreover, we must develop the role of workers in the movement, who are the main actors of the socialist revolution. This part of the work must be consciously promoted and organized, starting from communist organizations. Another important principle is that every form of struggle is just and legitimate, even when illegal. The only point is that we have the strength to carry it out. Finally, we orient every organization and individual towards a unifying political objective that is, in this phase in our country, to oust the Meloni government and replace it with a popular emergency government. In carrying out the work of promoting the non-NATO national coordination, we have gone through some phases so far. The founding of the national coordination is the result of the work we have promoted since April 4, 2024, when the Anti-imperialist Front launched internationally the slogan, "Let's declare April 4 as International Day Against NATO." We used their call to contact on a national scale committees, associations, grassroots unions, parties and bodies of the Italian Communist movement, progressive intellectuals, and members of the civil society to organize a day of national mobilization with local initiatives against NATO. This was the first brick. We worked to unite as many organizations as possible around this call with the aim of selecting the ones that were willing to join forces, to start a work of meetings, gatherings, assemblies, locally and nationally. And during these operations, the CARC Party learned from the experience of each local organism and supported them so that they could play a prominent role in the process. We have worked with several organisms. Some are fighting against NATO because they were born as a result of NATO criminal operations in Italy, such as state massacres. Some are environmentalists who are worried and are mobilizing because the war pollutes and devastates the planet. Some are struggling for civil liberties against the criminal and repressive policies, for example, those implemented by the Italian and other governments during the pandemic. At this stage, the main difficulties we faced were internal to our party. Internally, we faced the tendency to conceal the role of the party in this process. And we also had to learn to combine the work to support the popular movement, where the party is strong, with the work of promoting autonomous party activities, where our ties with the masses are weaker. In essence, this means learning to act through the front, but also independently of the front. On August 4, 2024, at our national festival in the summer, we organized a debate to give a political perspective to the anti-war movement and the no-NATO movement in Italy, and to structure and coordinate those bodies' exponents who were most willing to give continuity to the path we had started. After this event, a series of contrasts emerged openly within a local committee in Florence, which was one of the most important experiences in the anti-NATO struggle. The most backward part of this committee, the right wing, used our leadership limitations to try to sabotage the path of building a national coordination by accusing our party of heterodirecting the coordination and bypassing democratic processes. The summation of the experiences of the work done led us to build greater unity between the center of the party, which is following the work on a national level, and the periphery of the party, in charge of the party's intervention on local bodies. We understood that the main problem was not the right wing attacking us, but the fact that within the party there was not yet sufficient unity on the line to follow. We had to internally elevate clarity on the role of the party in the establishment of the no-NATO national coordination. After doing this, our party promoted with other organizations a public debate on a programmatic declaration and regulations of a possible future non-NATO coordination. This step brought to a split between those who really wanted to establish a coordination and those who were for waiting for better times, waiting for the conditions to mature. In fact, the basic disagreements at this stage were related to the fact that a minority component did not have the confidence that it was possible to establish a national coordination, or they feared being exploited. The debate on the founding documents of the national coordination made a left wing emerge and unite around commonly defined theses and objectives that were not imposed from above, but the result of the political pact we had taken up to that point. All this led to the founding assembly on December 8, 2024 in Bologna and to the birth of the non-NATO National Coordination. In the process, the CARC Party still plays an important role. Indeed, there are still few forces that come to the non-NATO National Coordination on their own initiative. This because there is a certain skepticism that an effective opposition against NATO can actually be formed on a national scale. Also, there is a strong tendency for sectarianism and competition among the promoters of the various mobilizations against war, instead of a struggle for unity of action against our common enemy. We have fought these sectarian tendencies by focusing on common political objectives, on the need for the national coordination to be independent at the same time capable of leveraging the positive aspects of any possible initiative promoted by others that is useful to extend the struggle against NATO. We also addressed the divergence between those who are in favor of large national mobilizations and argue that small events serve little purpose, and those who, because of their skepticism, are orienting to doing small mobilizations and events only. Large mobilizations are useful and necessary to give a strong political signal to the popular masses of the country and to strengthen unity. At the same time, small events are necessary to build network, gather new forces, and to organize individuals who approach the local chapter of the coordination. In general, this struggle against backward tendencies has strengthened the national coordination. On May 2025, the National Coordination launched an appeal against the attempt by two different political areas in Italy to promote two separate mobilizations on June 1, 2021 against the EU rearm program and the NATO summit in The Hague. The appeal of the National Coordination aimed at building a unitary mobilization to bring together as many people as possible. As I'm speaking, we do not know whether the goal of unifying these two mobilizations will be achieved, but the National Coordination has taken a leading role in this struggle and has animated a debate on a national and local level that has given prestige to its action. The non-NATO National Coordination has been born, but there is still a long way to go to make it a coordination that actually launches and leads joint campaigns that supports and strengthens what the members' organisms are already doing, giving each organism the opportunity to learn and teach and support each other. We are aware that this involved getting dozens and dozens of organizations to adopt a different approach from the one they're used to. From organizations that are only claiming demands to the ruling class of the country, to new authorities, that is, to organisms that think and act as a new ruling class, a class that will supplant the power of the imperialist bourgeoisie and the clergy in our country. Let us extend the struggle against NATO and Zionism. Socialism is the future of humanity and will overcome imperialist war. Long live the platform.